The 17 Years, Part 5. Continuation of the highlights of the relationship between Saint Father Annibale Maria di Francia and Servant of God, Luisa Piccarreta, little daughter of the Divine Will. Excerpt from Letter 9 of Father de Francia to Luisa. Messina, October 29, 1926. JMJA. Little by little, as each volume is printed, I will give you back the manuscript. I make you also reflect on the fact that this treasure may be just as well kept in a religious institute as in your home. Jesus wanted the writings to come temporarily to Messina, and he will keep them. The printing cannot be done in Messina. It will have to be done in Oria, and I am hoping to send tomorrow the first little work to be printed. Meanwhile, I am writing a preface, a little long, but it doesn't matter. But since our adorable Lord insists, so that the writings, that is, the great teachings about the divine will, come to the light soon, I will divide each volume into 2 parts. The first part will contain the teaching about the virtues and the like. The second part will enter into the topic of the divine will. This until we get to the volumes that talk exclusively about the divine will. Then each volume will deal with this great topic. You say that at the beginning of volume 20, there is something regarding me. In parentheses, it says, "See below, Book of Heaven, volume 20, September 28, 1926. Well, do not delay. Transcribe it for me, that I may regulate myself according to the adorable divine volition. I want to let you know, for the tranquility of your conscience, that the obedience to write everything is not under penalty of grave sin, but only for the greater satisfaction of adorable Jesus, for his glory, for your sanctification, and for the good of souls. But if you neglect completely to write, then the sin would be grave. As far as the copies of several other volumes still to be made, do not think that this is a matter of a short time. I would hope to complete the whole printing in at least 5 years, and with a cost of 1 million, maybe more. Volume 20, September 28, 1926. Jesus pushes the Father, who must occupy himself with it. Luisa's great affliction because of the printing of the writings. Jesus wants that they be entrusted to his care. Jesus pushes the Father, who must occupy himself with the printing. I was feeling oppressed, and as though crushed under the weight of a profound humiliation, because I had been told that not only what regards the will of God must be printed, but also what regards all the other things that my lovable Jesus has told me. My pain was such as to take away from me even the words, to be able to say something, so that they would not do it. Nor was I able to pray my beloved Jesus that he would not allow it. Everything was silence, inside and outside of me. Then my lovable Jesus, moving in my interior, clasped me to himself, to infuse in me courage and strength, and he told me, My daughter, I do not want you to look at what you have written as your own, but to look at it as mine, and as something that does not belong to you. You must not enter into it at all. I shall take care of everything. Therefore, I want you to entrust it to my care, and as you write, I want you to give it to me as gift, that I may be free to do whatever I want, and you may be left only with what you need in order to live in my will. I have given you as many precious gifts for as many knowledges as I have manifested to you. And you want to give me no gift? And my Jesus, forgive me. I myself would not want to feel what I feel. Thinking that what has passed between me and you must be known to others makes me restless, and gives me such pain that I myself cannot explain. Therefore give me strength. In you I abandon myself, and I give everything to you. And Jesus added, Good, my daughter, it is my glory, the triumph of my will, that requires all this. But it wants, it demands, that its first triumph be over you. Aren't you happy to become the victory, the triumph of this supreme will? Do you not want, then, to make any sacrifice, so that this supreme kingdom may be known and possessed by creatures? I too know that you suffer very much in seeing that after long years of secrecy between me and you, in which I have kept you hidden with so much jealousy, our secrets are now coming out. You feel your strong impressions. But when it is I who want it, you too must want it. Therefore let us be in agreement and do not worry. Then after this he made me see Reverend Father, and Jesus, being near him, placed his holy right hand on his head to infuse in him firmness, help, and will, saying to him, My son, hurry, do not lose time. I shall help you. I shall be near you, so that everything may go well and according to my will. Just as I care that my will be known, and just as I have dictated the writings about the kingdom of the supreme Fiat with paternal goodness, so shall I help with the printing. I shall be in the midst of those who shall occupy themselves with it, so that everything may be regulated by me. Therefore hurry, hurry. Volume 20, November 6, 1926. Jesus to Luisa. My daughter, courage. Let me finish manifesting to you what is necessary regarding the kingdom of my will, so that nothing may be lacking in order to form it in the midst of the human family. Then, after I have completed everything, I shall quickly bring you into our fatherland. Do you think that you shall see the full triumph of the kingdom of the eternal Fiat before coming to heaven? It is from heaven that you shall see its full triumph. It shall happen to you as it happened to me with the kingdom of redemption. I did everything that was needed. I formed the foundation. I gave the laws and the counsels which were needed. I instituted the sacraments. I left the gospel as the norm of their life. I suffered unheard of pains unto death. But while being on earth, I saw little or almost nothing of the fruits and of the carrying out of redemption. after I had done everything and had nothing left to do, I entrusted everything to the apostles, that they might be the criers of the kingdom of redemption, so that the fruits of the works I did for the kingdom of redemption might come out. The same shall happen for the kingdom of the supreme Fiat. We shall do it together, my daughter. Your pains, your long sacrifices, your incessant prayers that my kingdom may come soon, and my manifestations about it, I shall unite everything together with me, and shall form the foundations. And once I have completed everything, I shall entrust my kingdom to my ministers, so that like second apostles of the kingdom of my will, they may be the criers of it. Do you think that the coming of Father de Francia, who shows so much interest and who has taken to heart the publication of what regards my will, came by chance? No, no, I myself disposed it. It is a providential act of the supreme will that wants him as first apostle of the divine Fiat and proclaimer of it. And since he happens to be the founder of an order, it is easier for him to approach bishops, priests, and people, also within his own institute, in order to proclaim the kingdom of my will. This is why I assist him so much and give him special light, because in order to understand my will, it takes great graces, not little lights, but sun, to comprehend the divine, holy, and eternal will, as well as great disposition on the part of the one to whom this office is entrusted. And then the daily coming of the priest, I myself also disposed, that I might find quickly the first apostles of the Fiat of my kingdom, so that they might proclaim what regards my eternal will. Therefore, let me finish first, so that after I have completed it, I may entrust it to the new apostles of my will. And you shall be able to come to heaven, to see from up there the fruits of the longed-for kingdom of the eternal Fiat. Volume 20, November 27th, 1926. I was all abandoned in the arms of the adorable will, and I prayed my sweet Jesus to make use of an act of his power, so that the supreme volition might invest the human generations, and binding them to itself, it might form its first children, so longed for by it. And my highest good, moving in my interior, told me, "My daughter, when one has a special mission, this person is called mother or father. Whoever originates from this fulfilled mission can be called daughter of this mother. True mother means to carry the birth from oneself within one's womb, to form it with one's own blood, to bear pains, sacrifices, and, if needed, to expose one's own life in order to give life to the birth from one's womb. And when this birth has matured in one's womb and has come out to the light, then, with justice, by right and with reason, this birth is called son, and she who generated him, mother. Therefore, in order to be mother, it is necessary to first form all the members in one's own interior, to generate them in one's own blood, and the acts of these children must be generated from the very heart of their mother. Now, my daughter, in order to be daughter of my will, you have been generated in it. In it you have been formed, and in forming you, the light, the love of my will, more than blood, has grafted in you its ways, its attitude, its operating, making you embrace everyone and everything. This is so true that, you being a birth from it, it calls you now newborn of my will, now its little daughter. Now only the one who has been generated by it can generate the children of my will. Therefore, you shall be the mother of the generation of its children. And I, my Jesus, what are you saying? I am not good at being daughter. How can I be mother? And Jesus, yet from you must come the generation of these children. What mother has suffered so much? Who has been confined in a bed for 40 years and more, for the love of forming a birth from herself, and of giving birth to the generations of her children? No one. What mother, as good as she might be, has sacrificed her whole entire existence to the point of enclosing within herself the thoughts, the heartbeats, the works, so that everything might be reordered in the birth that she carried, wanting to give life to it, not once, but as many times, for as many acts as her child does? No one. Do you yourself not feel within yourself the generations of these children, by following their thoughts, words, works, steps, to reorder them all in my will? Do you not feel yourself wanting to give life to each one, as long as they know my will and be regenerated in it? Everything that you do in your interior, and that you suffer, is nothing other than the formation and the maturation of this birth, all of heaven. This is why I have told you many times, your mission is great. There is no one who can equal it, and highest attention is needed. Then I was feeling oppressed, because it had been written to me that Reverend Father de Francia was having the memories of my childhood printed, as well as everything that follows. And in my sorrow I was saying to my beloved Jesus, my love, look a bit at what they are doing to me, from making known what you have told me about the virtues and about your adorable will. They are now putting what regards myself. At the most, they should be doing this after my death, not now. Only for me there was this confusion and this highest sorrow. For the others, no. Oh, Jesus, give me the strength to do your holy will also in this. And Jesus, clasping me in his arms to give me strength, all goodness told me, my daughter, do not afflict yourself so much. You must know that the other sanctities are small lights that are formed in the soul, and these lights are subject to growing, to decreasing, and even to becoming extinguished. Therefore, it is not right to put it in print while one is still living in time, before the light is no longer subject to becoming extinguished by passing on to the next life. What impression would one make if it became known that this light no longer exists? On the other hand, the sanctity of living in my will is not light, but sun. Therefore it is not subject either to becoming poor in light or to becoming extinguished. Who can ever touch the sun? Who can take a single drop of light away from it? No one. Who can extinguish one atom of its heat? Who can make it descend even by 1,000th below its place, from the height at which it reigns and dominates the whole earth? No one. If there were not the son of my supreme Fiat, I would not have allowed them to be printed. There's a footnote here referring to Luisa's memories of childhood is what was printed. If there were not the son of my supreme Fiat, I would not have allowed them to be printed. But rather I hasten, because the good that a son can do cannot be done by a light. In fact, the good of a light is too limited, and neither is it a great good if it is displayed, nor a great harm if it is not permitted to rise. On the other hand, the good of the Son embraces everything. It does good to all, and not letting it rise as early as possible is a great harm. And it is a great good to let it rise even one day earlier. Who can tell of the good that a sunny day can produce? Much more so with the Son of my eternal will. So, the greater the delay, the more sunny days are taken away from creatures, and the more days are taken away from the sun, constraining its rays within our celestial fatherland. Excerpt from Letter 10 of Father de Francia to Luisa. Messina. Started November 19, 1926. Finished November 23, 1926. JMJ A. I am finishing the 11th volume that is all filled with divine will. With this, I complete the reading of those 7 volumes that still do not have the imprimatur. As soon as they are ready, I will place my nihil obstat on them, and I will send my lay brother, de Trani, to Monsignor Archbishop, so that he may place his imprimatur. In this way, this very important issue of obtaining the ecclesiastical approval for any event in the future will be taken care of. It will be a point surpassed, for which we must thank our Lord with immense gratitude. I thank you for the words you have copied for me regarding the divine task that our Lord, in his infinite goodness, deigned to give to miserable me and to my people, of publishing the marvels of his divine will. In this way, our Lord shows that everything is his work. The printing has already begun, precisely that of your childhood. I am preparing a preface for the whole work. I could not obtain that the printing would begin at the press of my institute in Messina, because they have many works there. So it started at the press of Oria, in which I have many of our young typographers, who quickly and with great love have appreciated very much the privilege conceded to them by our Lord to publish these writings. As I keep reading, I take a few notes about observations that I hope to discuss with you personally. Meanwhile, may my meager prayers and yours, more worthy, run in the immensity of the divine will, of the most holy humanity of Jesus Christ, and of his divinity, with which he operated in the will of his divine Father, so that our Lord, by the intercession of his most holy Mother, of his angels, and of his saints, may want to give to you and me the grace to fulfill this work of heaven. Thus the outcome will have its perfect fulfillment in one way or another, or in a way that we do not know yet. There are also points in your writings in which the patience and the kindness of our Lord toward you appear in an admirable way. Then I suspend the reading to recite quite a few glory bees of thanksgiving to our Lord for his great kindness toward you. P.S. The publication of the entire work, with the printing, will be of about 25,000 copies, and since the work will be fairly thick, because it is the divine word that speaks, and this is substantial word of the Eternal Father, you can understand well how great the expense will have to be. But the great divine treasurer certainly does not lack the means, even if it should cost 1,000,000. Besides, the books will be sold quickly, maybe more than the hours of the Passion, and the money spent will return, and maybe even more. Father Annibale worked tirelessly to prepare all of Luisa's writings for publication, and to disseminate those that had already been approved. The Archbishop of Trani, Nazareth, put him in charge of all of Luisa's writings. You have reached the end of the 17 years, Part 5. Fiat.